Should Jon Snow and Daenerys be sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G, or should they be on the battlefield, K-I-L-L-I-N-G?
Let the battle begin!
Welcome to Battle of the Bros, where we hash out and thrash out our reactions and theories about pop culture. I'm Mr. Drew.
I'm Professor H. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched seasons 1 through 6 of Game of Thrones, watch this video after you watched it.
Today we're gonna talk about everyone's favorite future couple in the Game of Thrones world.
Yeah, I like to call them Daenerys or Dawn.
We're gonna take a peek into Professor H's fanfiction as we talk about reasons why and why not Jon Snow and Daenerys should be together.
First reason is, they have parallel stories. We've seen Jon and Daenerys both grow up together in this story that we've been presented by George R.R. Martin. They both struggle. They both have been challenged by leadership. They both have lost someone. One's been dealing with the north of the coldness, the other one's been dealing with the south and the east of the hotness, and now together they're gonna meet. They've carried on a parallel story. They've done their rebirth. They've died, they've come back to life. One was lit on fire, the other one was literally stabbed in the snow. Now it's time for the unity to begin, because they will need each other for the Battle of the Dawn. Reason number 2, they need each other to rule Westeros. Without each other, they're going to be on the opposite ends of the battlefield, and that's not something we want to see as fans and as supporters of the king and queen of Westeros. So Jon has the support of the north, Daenerys has the support of the south. Combined together, they'll have the support of Westeros, and it'll be one big happy ending.
See, I'm different. I would like to see Jon Snow versus Daenerys, because it is a song of ice and fire. If something happened to Jon where he turned into a White Walker, how cool would it be to see him and an army of whites take on Daenerys and her dragons?
Number 3, it's meant to be. How is it meant to be? We've been hearing about incest all this time. Not to say it is okay, but just to be introduced to how the story is perceived. Targaryens married within each other. Now it's time for Jon and Daenerys to meet. And we shouldn't be like, oh no, it shouldn't happen simply because they're related. This is a story. This is a story about keeping the lineage. And so it's meant for them to be together.
I'm gonna let that one stand by itself.
Number 4, they will also need to sacrifice something. It could be each other, it could be their love, it could be their baby. Something like of a sacrifice.
Whoa.
Wait, can you at least let me finish? Something of a sacrifice will need to come out of that relationship. Because if Daenerys truly is fire and Jon truly is ice, and together they are the song of ice and fire, they will create a baby that will probably be the one to solve the problems of all the world. They're so-called Azor Ahai. And so they need to make some sort of sacrifice. And I think that's what's going to complete the whole story. That is the bittersweet ending that George R.R. Martin speaks of.
You do know it takes like 9 months for a woman to have a baby? I know time's weird in the Game of Thrones world, but we're just gonna stop the middle of Daenerys' story for her to get pregnant? Okay.
Maybe it's not necessarily played out within the story that we see, but maybe it will fast forward once we get to the ending. And lastly, it's a perfect ending. It's a love story. Who doesn't love a love story? That's exactly what George R. R. Martin wants. That's exactly what Dan and DB want to project through the screen, and that's exactly what we're going to get.
You're such a hopeless romantic, but here are my 5 reasons why they're not gonna get together. Number 1, this isn't a romantic comedy. This isn't When Johnny Met Danny. This isn't You Got Chain Mail. This isn't Sleepless in a Sea Battle. This is about intrigue. This is about battles. This is about a Game of Thrones, not a game of love.
I'm sorry you don't have any love inside that heart. I'm sorry you sleep with the Night King on this one, Mr. Drew. Part of what makes the story great is the love. And what we do see is a lot of that play out and a lot of that fallout. But we'll finally see the one that does play out through. Jon plus Dany.
Number 2, Jon Snow is focused on the White Walkers. Jon Snow has one love, and that is the love to stop this White Walkers from crossing over and destroying Westeros. That is his one love. Are we to expect that he's going to stop trying to stop these White Walker creatures from killing everyone to go have a romantic love story with some weird dragon lady from another country? That's ridiculous. He has one goal, and he's going to finish it, and he doesn't have time for chicks.
That's part of the reason why this is such a surprise, and that's part of the reason why it's unexpected. When a soldier goes off to battle, he doesn't expect to fall in love with a nurse. When a soldier goes off to battle, he doesn't expect to find love in a time of war. That's what's happening here. He's gonna find love in the time of war. He's gonna need Dany from her dragons, for the dragon glass that's on Dragonstone, and simply for just her help. He's gonna find somebody he did not expect. We all want Jon, and we all want Dany to find the people they deserve.
Number 3, she is his aunt. Probably. If the rumors are true, it's gonna turn out that Daenerys is his aunt. Which makes it kind of awkward that everyone's first thought is for these two to jump together and make love and have a baby. My first thought is if there's something that Jon needs in life, it's to know who his true family is. Wouldn't it be greater for him to finally find someone that he's related to by blood and to build on that relationship, not turn it into a love incest relationship?
Jon and Daenerys come from a Targaryen lineage. They need to keep the lineage pure. That's what's going to happen, and that's why they're going to end up together.
Number 4, Jon likes redheads. It's been shown throughout the seasons we've watched so far that he did have one love, and it was Ygritte, who was a redhead. Jon grew up around redheads. The basis of what he likes in women probably comes from being around a lot of redheads. Why is he suddenly going to want this blonde lady from another land? Blondes just aren't his type.
That's a good one, Mr. Drew. But you can't base love on the color of your hair. What makes you think hair truly matters in Game of Thrones?
I think types do. And I don't think a pretty princess from another land is really his type. He's more of like a tomboy in the battle type. That's what would make his long claw go instead of...
Let me just say, Ygritte is one person. He was on the Night's Watch. He didn't have many options, okay? Once he sees Daenerys, it all changes. And not to say he's always been open to redheads. Look at Melisandre. How did that go? Rejected.
Number 5. Daenerys should not be defined by a man. Daenerys' whole story arc, it's always been that she's been tied to some sort of man. First it was her brother, then Khal Drogo, and on and on and on. To have her story end with her just being Jon Snow's side piece as they go and have a baby, to me that sort of kills the strong Mother of Dragons character that we've been building up. When she was first introduced, she was a very weak character who kind of did whatever people did. The journey we've gone on is her being strong and being at the top of the battlefield, bringing those dragons down on the White Walkers. That's what I want to see.
Dany wanted to have a child with Khal Drogo. It was prophesized. It was something she was looking forward to. It was even referenced many, many times. She looks back on it. I'm not trying to say that Dany's gonna lean on Jon. I don't think so. Dany is very independent. I definitely think she'll end in a very independent way. But I do think that with her combining with Jon, creating another Targaryen to rule over Westeros as the rightful king or queen, will just let that chapter continue on its own. It's not so much about Dany being a crutch to someone else, but it's as much as Dany finally bringing the king back to Westeros, or the queen.
Do you guys ship Jon and Dany together, or do you think they should ship out? Let us know in the comments below.
Like this video and subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter.
And we'll see you soon.